Hello and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd and you are watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I have some breaking news coming out here for you and a very interesting story. So we're going to be talking about Boris Pistorius, this gentleman here in your picture. He is the German defense minister. So he's coming out and warning that Russia is already producing more arms and military equipment than it needs for the war in Ukraine, and that they are stockpiling weapons in warehouses. So this is pretty big news, and he's warning this because he believes that Russia may be planning something else other than just Ukraine. Why would they be stocking up more than they need? Obviously, they're at war, right? They're clearly at war right now, and more is better than less, right? So it is important to make sure your stocks are well plenished if you're going to maintain a war for the long term. And we've heard that there was a report that came out just in the last couple weeks that Russia could supposedly sustain their war fighting for another 2 years at least. So right now there's a major battle going on, not just physically on the ground in Ukraine, but the West is fighting also an economic war against Russia. Ukraine is consistently attacking Russia's oil facilities, okay, and trying to take out their energy sector, or at least put damage to it to make it more difficult for Russia to fund this war. So there's multiple wars going on at the same time, different types of wars, I should say. And now we've got this warning that Russia is producing more weapons than what they really need for the war. And I just put out a report this morning stating that Germany is drawing up plans to basically send U.S. troops to the eastern front of Europe and potentially go to war with Russia in the near future. Okay, they're already planning to do that. So what is going on here? Why are we seeing all these signs here? Why is all this coming out? I think it's pretty obvious to most people that there could be a war that could break out at any moment, but it's looking more likely every single day, as time goes by. It's looking like this could happen at any moment. So I've got some extra information we're going to go over here on an article. This is on Yahoo News, okay? Originally from the Kiev Independent. German defense minister says Russia already produces surplus military equipment. This just coming out today. Russia is already producing more arms and military equipment than it needs for its war against Ukraine and is filling its weapons in warehouses, German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius said, as reported by the German television channel NTV on April 25th. Despite Western efforts to undermine Russia's industrial and military output, the country is only increasing its investment into arms production, allocating a record portion of its 2024 federal budget for military needs. So look at that. Russia's definitely spending a lot of money that they produce for their country. And think about what's been happening lately over there too. There's been some major floods, and many of the people that have been affected by these floods in Russia were not even compensated, or were compensated very little. Okay, so Russia's definitely moving towards a wartime economy and spending majority of their money more on war than they are anything else right now. And that's very dangerous because this just shows that Russia's very committed to what they're doing. They're not going to be changing their position here anytime soon, and probably never. And they are committed to fighting against Ukraine for as long as possible, even though the West is pushing back against this war immensely right now, especially with the $61 billion aid package that got passed to Ukraine. This thing's about to get nuts here very quick. So as Russia switches into a war economy mode, a large part of what is newly produced no longer goes to the front, but ends up in warehouses. So they're stocking up. Pistorius said on air of the ARD program, Maischberger. The minister warned against thinking that Russian President Vladimir Putin is stockpiling weapons only out of caution. Instead, the Kremlin's chief may have other plans in mind, Pistorius added. Russia's arms production has put Ukraine at a disadvantage on the battlefield, allowing Russian troops to outshoot Ukrainian defenders 10-1 in some areas. We still haven't seen where is Russia's breaking point. Mark Risky, a deputy director in the policy planning department of Estonia's defense ministry, told The Guardian. It's Russian arms production a lot higher. It's Russia's arms production, a lot higher than we expected. Really, he added. Ukraine has struggled to keep up with Russia in this regard. as the Ukrainian and allied military production capacities often lag behind the Russian ones. CNN reported in March that Russia makes 3 times the number of artillery shells than Washington or the EU can provide to Kiev. Look at that. 3 times the number of artillery shells. They are just mass producing weaponry right now. Russia is a madhouse when it comes to military equipment, and majority of their economy is probably running on this war right now. While the West appears to be picking up the pace and aiming to increase its production, it may take a year or more before the efforts bring fruit. So wow, think about this. This is really crazy news because this just shows right here that Russia is definitely committed to this war. And if this is true and they really are stockpiling weapons, they're prepared for the long haul here, whether it's against Ukraine, whether it's potential war against NATO in the future. I'm sure they're preparing for that. Whether or not that actually happens, I'm sure Russia is actually preparing for war with NATO at this moment, and they have been for a while. They've probably secretly been doing it, even though they're acting like they're just over here focused on Ukraine. I'm sure in the background they are preparing. I've seen multiple videos. I've shown them here on this channel of, the defense minister Shoigu going around the different military factories, Vladimir Putin going around the military factories. Okay, if they're doing that, they're very committed to this, and they're focused in making sure that they're producing the enough supplies that they need to not only maintain the war against Ukraine, but potentially go to war against NATO, because this could definitely lead to that. And I've been saying that for a very long time. We could be seeing NATO going to war against Russia over Ukraine. Okay, it could very much happen. They are very involved in what's happening down there. We just reported a few days ago as well that the U.S. is going to be sending like up to 60 more military advisors. So they're getting more and more involved. Okay, we also just sent some ATACMS missiles as well. The long-range 300-kilometer ATACMS ballistic missiles that can target inside of Ukraine, also pretty much all of Crimea, the Black Sea Fleet if they're nearby Crimea. So this thing is getting crazy over here very quickly. It is very much ramping up, especially this year. It's ramping up more than it ever was before, and it's escalating quickly. So this is only more proof that we're moving towards a potential war, major war breaking out in Eastern Europe between Russia and NATO. So let me know what you think down below. That's going to be it for this update, though. If you got something out of this update, please smash that like button. And also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, I hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.